Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today I'm going to take you through how I painted Kharseth, one of the new Aeldari models. Now at this point I had already undercoated the miniature with Chaos Black, and then I just did an all over coat of Baden Black Air, but if you just use it by brush that's fine. Well, I should say any black acrylic will do just fine. Just make sure that it's an acrylic that has a matte finish. And as you can see, just using a makeup sponge, I just applied some INCUBI darkness over the cloak, and I'm now just going to apply some KABALITE green over the cloak as well. Now don't stress about reaching into the deepest recesses. For anywhere that can't be reached, we're just going to apply that by brush a little bit later on. And lastly, for all over all of the cloak details, I'm now just going to sponge on some SYBARITE green as well. Now this was just using the same makeup sponge, and was more than happy for the colours to blend together as well. So now, like I mentioned, for those harder to reach areas that I still wanted to add some highlights to, I'm just now using my size 30 RAPHAEL 8404 brush. I'm just applying some INCUBI darkness, and then I'll follow that up with some KABALITE green, and essentially just blend it all in the exact same way that I did with the makeup sponge. So now to paint the galaxy effects on the lenses of the helmet, I decided to do a swirl base coat of Screamer Pink. You can of course use any colours that you'd like, but I wanted to go for some pink for this one, just to do something a little bit different. Now, as you can see, I am of course leaving a little bit of black in the recesses as well, so just getting that initial outline. Overall I was just going for a mini sort of Milky Way finish. And then after having given that a little bit of time to dry, you can then just go ahead and apply a second layer of the Screamer Pink. And now I'm just going to begin highlighting all of the Milky Way with some pink horror. Now as you can see, I've already got all of the pinks ready to go, just using my wet palette. I just have them all together. This is really useful just in case you need to go back and tidy anything up at any point. And it's also really important just to try and do each progressive highlight a little bit thinner than the last one, just to ensure that you get that sort of emanating, slightly glowy sort of finish to the Milky Way effect. And this is where a really high quality detail brush is going to come in handy. So if you're not sure on those detail brushes, if you are fairly new to miniature painting, I highly recommend checking out the RAPHAEL 8404 range. Definitely up there as some of the best brushes in my opinion, and they're certainly a lot more affordable than many of the other brands out there. But anyway, next up I'm just going to use some Emperor's Children, once again just carefully highlighting over the pink horror. For the most part though, I'm trying to focus in the Emperor's Children where more of the light would be catching, as opposed to just doing full coverage. Now as you can see, the line was a little bit thick just around the swirl in the center, so if you find that that does happen to you as well, you can just go back to Screamer Pink and then a touch of black and just tidy that up. And now using some Fulgrim Pink, I'm just going to do a final little bit of highlighting in here. And I also do, I should say, sorry, that I do go up to white as well. You can just add some dot point highlights in of white to finish that off. So just to add a little bit more color depth, I decided to use some XEREUS purple. So now just focusing in on the top center part of the Milky Way effect. And as you can see, once again, I'm just using my wet palette here, and this is heavily thinned down. And you shouldn't really need to layer this up more than just twice. And now I'm just going to gradually blend in some GENESTEALER purple, and once again this is heavily thinned down. Now I'm effectively just going to be doing some very minor highlights here and just some small little swirls down the bottom part of the helmet as well. So I did actually film quite a few different planets for this tutorial, however I will be leaving the full length tutorial which is available on my Patreon, but I thought I would still include just the one planet. So for this particular one I was going for effectively the style of Neptune, so just using some blue model colour by Vallejo, I'm just getting the initial outline. And now just immediately going to black model colour, I'm now just going to blend in through the centre, just to create a really deep blue. And as you can see, I'm just going back and forth between the blue and the black and just constantly blending these colours together. But it's really important to get that initial outline as tidy as you can. So just in a really, as perfect as you can, a perfect sort of circular motion. And that'll be the basis in which you can work up all of these highlights. And now just using some dead white by Vallejo, as always though, any white acrylic will do just fine. And once again, just blending in some white into the blue. And just gradually working in some edge highlights around the outer parts of the planet. Now to help create the atmosphere of freehand painting a planet, especially when it's on such a small scale like this, you can just do lots of small stippling effects and also almost as though you're painting a lightning effect. Just ensure that you keep them really subtle and initially try and focus them on the outer edges of the planet, and then you can gradually work your way through the center as well. And you can really just go back and forth between all of the colors and just continue blending them in. So as you can see there, for example, I felt as though there was a little bit too much white, so I've just gone back to the blue and I've just tidied that up a little bit more. And of course just adding more of a blue hue to the lower right hand side of the planet. And now, like I mentioned earlier, just adding in some subtle stippling effects and also just some very minor sort of lightning effects as well. So like I mentioned earlier, as you can see, I've painted in quite a few different styles of planets there. But again, you can view this tutorial in full on my Patreon, and I will be leaving a link to my Patreon in the description below. Now, I'm now using an eye concealer makeup brush. Any small sort of dry brush will do just fine. But now just stippling on some white, and I had previously applied some blue doing the same step as well. And this is just to create some variety in some different shaped stars, and then you can just do some dot point stars as well. And with all of those steps now done, I'm now moving on to the staff, and as you can see, I've also applied this red on the crest and just around the highlight areas of the armor as well. The outer areas of the armor, I should say. Now, another thing to mention as well, for the details on the helmet and the inner parts of the shoulder pads, for example, I effectively followed along with the same steps as the XEREUS purple and GENESTEALER purple in the Milky Way area on the lenses for the helmet, and then just did a touch of DECALER lilac to finish off those highlights as well. But anyway, just ensuring that I do leave some of the black in the deeper recesses on the staff. I'm now just working in some Khorne red as the base coat, and I'm once again just using my size 3/0 brush to do this. So sort of think of highlighting this as though you are painting a non-metallic metal style. So yeah, similar sort of finish without it actually being specific color tones that would fit non-metallic metal. And just to continue on with the staff, I'm now just going to highlight with WAZDAKKA red. This is a really nice, subtle, sort of more muted red, as opposed to something more vibrant like Evil Sun Scarlet, and I thought it would be perfectly fitting for the overall style that I was going for. But of course, if you're wanting to go for something that stands out a little bit more, you could use Bold Pyro Red by Pro Acryl, or you could use, of course, like I mentioned, Evil Sun Scarlet. And for the next highlight, I decided to settle with Wild Rider Red. So when I first started painting Aeldari many years ago, this was the set of reds into Fire Dragon Bright that I did use at first. And yeah, that's why I wanted to revisit that. And although this time leaving a lot more black than I used to, I believe I used to do a full coverage of Khorne Red, and then I believe I shaded it with Carroburg Crimson from memory. But yeah, I really liked the idea of, as you can see, even just looking in those deeper recesses where the light wouldn't be catching, just keeping some of the black there. I thought it worked really well. But anyway, for the most part, just focusing on the edge highlights using Wild Rider Red. And depending on how much you want to blend these colours, you really can go back and forth and blend them as much as you'd like to. For simplicity's sake though, I decided not to overdo the blending. And but yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier as well, having all the paints ready on a wet palette and just being able to go back and forth between them to tidy anything up. And of course, being able to thin them and then keep that consistency without it drying is going to be extremely beneficial when you're painting details like this. And now lastly, for the staff, I'm just going to do some, mostly just some really sharp edge highlighting and just some dot point highlights using Fire Dragon Bright. So again, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't touched on every single detail that I painted for this model, but if you would like to see the full tutorial, like I mentioned, I will be leaving the link to my Patreon in the description below. And yeah, I have a bunch of exclusive tutorials up there. And Plenty of tutorials from my Patreon do make it to YouTube as well. However, yeah, like I mentioned, some of them are exclusive and a lot of them are certainly early access as well. So yeah, if you want to check that out, I will leave that link below. And to all of my members though, a huge thank you to you. I'm really, really proud of the progress that it's made so far. But with that being said, that is how I painted Kharseth. So guys, thank you very much for watching this one today, and I will have plenty more coming within the near future. I will be getting so I uploaded an Auric Megaboss tutorial to my Patreon really recently. I'll endeavour to get that one out to YouTube in the near future as well. But if you would like to support the channel further, if you're in Australia or the UK, it won't cost you anything extra, but if you purchase through those 2 hobby stores and specifically use those links provided in my description, it does support me. So thanks again guys, and I'll see you again in the next one.